All right, I'm Nick. I lost my voice yesterday, day before. You guys already know that from the last video. I've been drinking hot apple cider trying to fix it, but it's not working. I told you guys I would film this how to fish the 17 MR video and didn't want to hold out. So here it is, no voice coming to you, okay? Before we get started, we try to do a few giveaways every month, right? And it's for current subscribers. We don't announce it or share anything. Yes, it's a giveaway. If you watch the videos, thank you. We're going to give away all 6 of the 17 MRs that we fished with over the last 3 days. Stay tuned to the end and I'll give you some details on how to win those. First off, we're going to talk about this lure, give you some background on information on it, and then we'll go into how to fish it. 17 MR comes in a bunch of different colors. Mirrolure produces it. It has really been a staple of the inshore speckled trout fishing scene for a very, very long time. It sinks very slowly. They do make it in a heavy version. This is the original style, so it sinks slow. It has pretty small hooks on it, skinny wire, so they're not very heavy. They hold up great to keeper speckled trout, big trout. Will probably ruin them. Redfish definitely destroy them after a fish or two, but it catches fish. It's very, very easy to use. I'm going to show you how we use it. You guys already saw, video clips of fish from the last 3 days. I put some of that in there. We caught some nice redfish, trout, striper. It was fun. We caught some nice fish. The lure itself is pretty durable. From time to time, they do quit rattling, but at $8, lures break. Yeah, fishing is not cheap. It's just not, okay. They break. Buy a new one. Use them, catch fish. Buy a new one. You can use this lure 12 months a year, catch fish. Bait tends to slow down a bit in the wintertime, so that slow sinking is a big plus come wintertime. In the summertime, bait is usually darting around, very erratic. And although you can catch fish on this, sometimes if you work it too quickly, it will pull itself to the surface, right? You'll be working it and it'll kind of just get higher and higher. You can adjust the sink rate, right? So we talked about these hooks being bad in the video, and I told you guys I change them out from time to time. Excuse me. And I do. You can change them out to these. This is a 96-26 VMC. You can go with black or silver or whatever floats your boat. Doesn't matter. But when you change those hooks, you change the sink rate. So you need to consider that. Sink rate can be altered a variety of ways. Larger split rings, smaller split rings, bigger hooks, smaller hooks, lighter hooks. But you need to know that. You also need to know that sink rate will change based on the salinity level. So the saltier the water, the more buoyant this lure will be. The fresher the water, the faster it'll sink. The heavier the current, the slower it will sink because the current will hold it in the air. Those are very, very important things to consider. Some people, the new craze is to put inline hooks on their lures, but not all lures are balanced well enough for inlines, and they may roll or cant on their sides and fall like this. Keep that in mind. It is weird, it's interesting, but you need to consider that. And how you figure that out is by tossing the lure in the water next to the kayak. And you can see what the lure is doing. By looking at it, you'll learn it sinks this fast or it sinks that fast. And this lure is real hard to see, but you can see it in this video. I just tossed it out there for you guys. I could see it. You probably won't be able to see it. Watch it sink. See how it behaves. So now that you know how fast or slow the lure is sinking next to the kayak, how do you fish it? It's a super easy lure to fish. Now you can throw it out there in the water and you could let it sink, right? Don't be afraid to let it sink. You should have learned how fast it's sinking. So say you're fishing in 4 feet of water and the fish are laying in the bottom. If the bait's up here, they might not see it. So you need to let it sink right into the strike zone. Once it's in the strike zone, then you can twitch it. Sometimes you're fishing 2 feet of water, and as soon as the lure hits the water, it's in the strike zone. So the lure lands in the water, and there's a variety of cadences, right? Sometimes it's 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's 1, pause for 3, 4 seconds, and everyone's cadence is different, right? My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be different from your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So keep that in mind. when I let it sink, I count to certain numbers. You're going to need to adjust that to you because you're going to count differently. Learn what it does, right? Count it down. If you go 1, 2, and then you work it back and you don't get any bites, but you go bloop, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's in the zone, and then you twitch it 1, 2, 3 times, as you can see in this video, and you get hit, you have found the fish. What you're doing is correct. So in this video, the lure hits the water. It's just a simple pop, pop, pop. We're not yanking that rod, right? You're not doing this. You're just moving the rod tip an inch or two every time, and that's going to move the lure instantly, just like that. It'll dart a little bit and do weird stuff, but very simple. Toss it in the water, pause, twitch, 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 thump, fish on. Now, other times you need to go slower. You throw it out there, and maybe you go twitch, 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 nothing, twitch, 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 nothing. Hit it with a twitch and pause, and maybe that one twitch was all it needed to get that fish to bite. The lure has a ton of possibilities. It's very, very easy to use. You just need to think about things like how the current is flowing. If you throw it out in front of you and the current is coming to you, then you don't need to work the lure as fast because this lure is going to get in the current and it's going to move in the current. So you might be reeling a lot to pick up a line, but you're not moving the rod tip because you don't want to move the lure. You want the lure to drift in the current. Now, if you cast it down current and you're working it against the current, current's going this way now, and you're moving it, it's going to come to the surface real quick. The current's going to push it up. So you need to slow down. You need to let it sink longer. There's a lot of variables that go into this stuff. You don't just pick it up in one day. The other thing you need to consider, if you are in a kayak, the kayak is moving. Unless you're power pulled down or have an anchor or a river stick or whatever you're doing, you're going to be moving. I like to always be moving, right? So you need to know the kayak is drifting left and the kayak is going right, and you threw the lure up current or you threw the lure in front of you, and now the lure is drifting back to you. Or if you're pedaling to the lure, you just cut your cast in half. There is a ton of details that go into perfecting any lure, and you need to consider those. So slow down, absorb your surroundings, and make sure you are working that lure correctly. Pay attention to the small details. How long did you count it down? How many twitches did you give it? How was the kayak moving? Those are important, okay? You guys are going to have more questions. We're going to go into more details throughout the winter, okay? We're going to use a variety of lures. We're going to try to break them down and make it as simple as possible and point out the things that you're probably not thinking about. It's simple. So we're going to give away all 6, right? Go down to the comment section. Tell me what your favorite color is of any lure, okay? And then make a lure suggestion that we make a video about like this. Whether it's a Rapala X-Wrap or, I don't know, a zombie ripstick. That's actually a really, really good wintertime bait. And I'll probably make a video about it anyways. That's it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to drink some more hot cider. Hopefully my voice recovers in the next 10 hours or 12 hours or 2 days. And we'll make some more videos. Thanks for taking time to watch. I look forward to reading your comments.